Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Railway Roundup from the Telford Steam Railway. Lots of things going on, lots of progress, lots of updates, and we can tell you our plans for 2025, and there's lots of things we've got ready and planned to go this year. So come on with me and let's see what we've got going. Well, here we are back in the shed, and it's great to see Dave with us here.
Right.
Yeah, fine, thank you. And we're stood in front of 5619, Dave, that you've been working on.
Birthday girl this year, yes. Yeah. March, she entered service 100 years ago.
100 years ago, yeah, amazing, isn't it? 1925.
Yeah. So having the sort of winter maintenance carried out on it, boiler washouts, general clean, resealing a few leaky gaskets.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm basically making sure she's fit to run for the coming season.
Absolutely,
yeah.
We're grateful. So you've had work on the safety valve, Dave?
If you can see it, we've actually had to reseal the safety valve flange. The gasket really had given up, and it was leaking quite badly, so that's all been replaced with new gasket, new nuts and everything. Yes, a few repairs still to be done. The ash pan suffered badly over Polar. It seemed to floodlit the side of the track.
It did, didn't it?
With the glow. So that's still to be done. While she's over the pit, really it's just going to be a general inspection and a good clean underneath.
Yeah. Well, that'll be hopefully a job I can get involved in with that, because we do, but every job on this is dirty job, isn't it? So we've got some events lined up. It's amazing that it's 100 years old, so we're going to really celebrate that with a few events that we've got going, and it's great, isn't it? And thank you very much, Dave, and everybody who gets, because it's it's hard work, isn't it? And it's a lot of work, so to be done. So we're very grateful.
So get this one out of the way, then we can start on Rocket.
Yes, because that's our other steam locomotive that's under overhaul, isn't it? For its 10 yearly.
Our Peckett, the boiler is currently away of its overhaul. We're hoping to have some news on when it's coming back. Obviously, once we've got a date, we can start on the frames. There's a few jobs that need doing on that with the motion. I would say it's all dependent on the boiler, really.
It is, isn't it? But our hope is that we will have it back in steam
very soon.
Yes. This is 100 years old this year. Yeah. Rocket is 100 years old in 2026, because built obviously in that. So we've got very 2 years of celebrations of our steam engine. So it'll be lovely to have it back in steam for its birthday year. But great. Like I say, thanks so much, Dave, for the work you're doing, and thanks for giving us an update on the Locos. Thanks. Well, it wouldn't be an episode of Railway Roundup if I wasn't here talking to AJ. So here we are. AJ, we're in front of your Loco, the 03. Can you give us a progress of the 03 and all the other diesels that you're involved in?
We're back again with my 03. Currently, as it stands, all the back four heads and the back four liners, pistons are all out. That's allowing us then to get at least half a revolution out of the engine. Currently, we're sourcing some more liners due to the damage with 5 and 6. They're very heavily corroded. It looks like they've been full of water for the best part of 15, 20 years, which has done some damage. So unfortunately, we are looking for some spares. And then the plan is to then attack the front four heads, have the lot off, just because while we're here it's easier, and a lot of the rings are stuck. And then that's really the plan for 2025, is get the parts all sorted, have the engine all back together, and fingers crossed it'll be running. But a lot of the time over Polar, because of how damp it's been in here, there's not been a lot of engine work, so my engineering team have been in the cab, sorting out, managed to loosen all the bolts on the gauge cluster, so we've managed to have all of them out to send them away for repair, and then also done some door repairs, which, new and the old, as you can see with the old one, it's absolutely split, completely rotten, being really badly damp. So what that meant was, as you were shutting, you couldn't get the cab door to shut because the frame was flexing. So fair play to my dad, considering he's not necessarily woodwork by trade. He's made a new piece, and that should mean the door can then be put back together, and I'll have a secure cab again. So
that'll be great if the 03 needs to go outside into the yard for any period of time, isn't it?
That'll keep the cab secure and hopefully keep it dry as well.
Yeah, but he's done a fantastic job with that, hasn't he? So it's incredible. And you've said it on camera. Hopefully, the end of the year, engine running, if not mobile.
That's my goal.
But
every time I say it, my dad and my granddad give me a funny face, but that's the idea. And that doesn't mean it'll be in service by the end of the year. That is purely the 8-cylinder lump running in.
Obviously, you're traction and rolling stock director. What about the other diesels that we've got on the railway?
Well, there's plenty lined up again for this year due to the experience we had at Polar with problems with the 08. And once again, we've had another year of traction problems. Currently, as it stands, the goal for this year is I really want to get Rusty going, have the engine repaired, or at least have a diagnosis of that and start getting that ball turning. And I know having discussions with the North British Locomotive group, the group who own Tom, that's also another target to get the gearbox repaired this year, which is ongoing. That is mainly waiting for the 56 to be done, so we can get that over the pit and then get the repairs going on that.
But one engine that's been working perfectly is the other engine that you own, and that's Hector, isn't it?
My mighty little Ruston 88. Hopefully, I do want to do some work on it this year, just to tidy up, because it is looking a bit sorry for itself, but as it stands, it is a functioning Loco, so can't take that away from it, really.
No, absolutely. And at the Gronk Winter Running Day, it was really popular with the brake van rides, didn't it, that we had? And the hopeful that this season coming in 2025, we will have Hector on brake van rides as well within the Spring Village station limits, because we know it's a very popular engine with the passengers that come in. And Tom and Rusty, you've got your hands full, haven't you, with the O3, as always as well, and the tram and everything else. So, Andrew, thanks ever so much as usual. Thank you. Here we are. Still with AJ outside the tram shed. Obviously you can see the tram in progress. What's our plans for the forthcoming year with the tram, AJ?
Well, as it was last year, we've made a lot of progress to get to the tram to where it is now. The big goal for this year is to see it running. Yeah. That is the big one. Yeah. So currently we've got materials on order to finish the actual tram itself. And then, like I said, we've got a new water tank on order, all the materials for the sides and the roof. So all being well, once the tank is here, RC and me can then start getting all the plumbing done to get the boiler in, and we can then get the hydraulic test and the steam test done. So all being well, the tram will be running, and then also alongside that we then need to get the coach sorted. Yeah,
for that on that,
again, the materials are on site. It's just getting the manpower and the time.
That's good, isn't it? It's good that we've got everything ready for it, and it's just time. So fingers crossed, we have an open day May the 4th. So our plan is that we can get something that have the tram ready for that. Again, can't guarantee it though, I'm afraid, but if we can get the station and the viewing area here back open for people to go and have a look at. And we know the tram's very popular with our visitors, it's very popular with us. We can't wait to get it back. It hasn't been running since I think 2019.
It's been a good 5 years.
Yeah, now. So it'll be great to have it back running. And of course, with it being built for the Telford Town Park, it's a lot of history with the area, so we can't wait to get it back. The other 2-foot gauge Loco we've got is privately owned, but it's the diesel, the Ruston diesel, isn't it? Have you any update on that? Do you know, AJ?
Unfortunately, yes. The last time, a lot of you may remember when we mentioned the narrow gauge, all looked complete. Since then, we had another second run, and it suffered a catastrophic failure, unfortunately. What we believe to have happened is the main gear on the camshaft, a tooth has failed, and as it's obviously been running, that's wedged between and snapped the gear clean off the end of the camshaft. So currently, the engine is kaput. So to be fair to the owners, since we've got Polar out of the way, they've managed to get the camshaft out, and they're currently, he is currently conjuring up a plan to hopefully get that repaired. And all being well, we'll either have some diesel and some steam action on the tram.
It was such a shame for them, wasn't it? Because they were almost there.
To say the least, I was gutted for them as well, because we got it running the second time, and then there was an almighty bang, and then it went bleh. Yeah. It was like, so yeah, the amount of work they put in, it's a shame, but these things happen, to be fair. You got to remember, a lot of the Locos are 70 plus years old.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know about this one, but a lot of them as well have been out in the open for many years, haven't they, as well? But, 2025, possibly the steam tram running and the 2-foot diesel Ruston. So it'll be fantastic to have that here. But AJ,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Thank you very much. We're here now in Spring Village in the picnic area, as you can see, and by the side of me is our next venture, which we hope to get going in 2025. We've just bought this building, and this will hopefully be our museum. For many years we've been talking about getting a museum set up. We've got lots of artifacts and interesting historical items relating to the local area and railways in general. We haven't been able to show them. This building is ideal at getting a lot of things on display, and is another attraction for people to come and see when they're at the railway. So we've got a volunteer who's super keen to get this going, and we'll give you the progress of it as we go through the year. But yes, hopefully in 2025 we will have a museum open for our visitors. Well, here we are with Ben. Hiya, Ben. Nice to see you. And we're stood in front of the coaches, some of the coaches stock we've got. Ben, can you tell us your plans for coaches this year, please?
Yeah, so we've got quite a lot to do this year. As you can see behind us, there's 2 coaches, TSO 5219 and BSO 9406. which are currently unrestored. So we'll have some work will be taking place on those. And then we've got the existing running fleet as well to my right, which will also be having some work. So for the existing running fleet, the recent Polar Express trains, they took a bit of internal damage. So we're just sort of running through them all, replacing any wall panels that need to be replaced, doing any sort of remedial works that are required. And yeah, our midweek crews are cracking on with them. So 5219, if you remember, joined us towards the back end of last year. This coach was purchased very much in need of a full in-depth restoration. We're currently doing some work here, preparing the body and clearing up internally to make sure the coach is ready, and then we'll be sending this coach off for overhaul to a commercial overhaul company, and they'll be doing the majority of the bodywork on this coach. That's to enable it to get finished a lot quicker. We've already agreed that we're going to put some money into it and really make it a good coach. And then at the very end, we've got BSO 9406. So this has been a long-running project for TSR. That has gone through lots of stages. It's required lots of work. We're planning this year to get the coach finished. There's a few things that's dependent on, like bodywork and the opportunity to get the coach in the shed or undercover to get it painted, as well as work on the doors. Those are the two things that are really holding us up at the minute. But if they get completed this year, I'd like to think that the BSO will be in service next Easter, which will mean we're able to have disabled access on board all of our heritage trains, whether that's steam, diesel or the Pacer. So yeah, 3 coaches here, all lined up to have work done this year, as well as the rest of the running fleet.
And this doesn't look as bad as it is, because we have the glass for it, doesn't it? So
this coach is all here. It's just not all visible at the minute.
No.
So we're going to be completely stripping out the interior and replacing it. So that's what our volunteers are working on at the minute. We're making sure that we can clear out the old seats, dispose of them, sell them on, or donate them to another heritage organisation, and just clean up the inside really. Get it ready so when it goes off for overhaul and it comes back here as a lovely painted empty shell, our midweek volunteers can just crack on and get the interior all polished up forward.
So a lot of work for the next year or so, isn't it? For that, volunteers are doing an absolutely fantastic job. But yeah, a couple of years' time, it's going to look completely different. And as you say, our passengers will notice a big difference with the paint and the interior design.
They will.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Andrew, we mentioned Rusty when we were in the shed, but we've come outside now. Thank you very much for opening the engine bonnet. I'll get it right in the end. But yeah, can you give us a bit more detail about Rusty, please?
Yep, so as it's been mentioned, Rusty left service about coming up 2 years ago now, with a suspect either head gasket gone or, well, there was numerous issues. The main issue was it was blowing excess amount of fumes at the crankcase breather. So we took the heads off, had a good look on this bank, nearest bank, and found a cracked liner and a blown head gasket on piston 3, I think it's classed as. So the current plan has always been, well, get a new head gasket. Once we cleaned up the top, that was when we found the cracked liner. And the problem is with these engines, they're a dry line block as well, so that could potentially mean the block's cracked. So that's why it sort of fell down the list, because it's going to be quite a big job to do. So currently the plan for this year will be either get the piston out, hopefully press the liner out and be able to see if the block's cracked. So there's numerous ways we can go about it, but this alone is quite a big job, really.
So if the block is cracked, that's big job.
That's the engine's goosed.
Right. If just the liner's cracked, then that's easier.
Yeah. We can get replacement liners for this. It's if the block's cracked. We've been looking just in case you really struggle to find this type of engine.
Right.
It's a V6 Baxman anyway.
And is that the original that was in it? Or so
it's the original engine.
Yeah. Because it's a lovely loco. We were talking about this earlier, and and it's very useful for the railway, isn't it? Because it can hold the service trains.
It's owned by the trust, so
yeah, it'll be nice to have it back running. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So thank you, AJ, and we'll no doubt speak to you again with progress of this as we go through the year. But thank you very much for what you're doing.
Not a problem.
I'm stood now in the old signal box on Horsey and Lawley Station. We'll put a link to our video that we did concentrating on the signal box, showing about the progress that we're making and its history. But yeah, since that video, we've progressed the levels of the brickwork. It's coming on nicely, and our plan is to get the brickwork done, the timber frame, and have this open for the public in 2025. As I say, it's taken a long time to get to this stage. It's fantastic we finally got planning permission for it, and it's brilliant to see that the signal box is being rebuilt, and can't wait to see it on the station. So we've moved down onto the track bed now, just south of Horsehay and Lawley Station, and with Anthony, Mark and Andy, and obviously you're doing a lot of work here with rail we can see in front of us. What have you been up to, Anthony?
Well, over the last few weeks, we've had rail obviously at Doseley for some time now. We wasn't sure of the condition, so what we've been doing is we've been bringing rail up for inspection and hopefully to relay just the other side of the crossing.
Because this was rail that was laid when we were excavating Lawley Tunnel,
yes,
Heath Hill Tunnel, yes. And we laid the track down for the spoil. So is it still in good condition largely?
Some are in really good condition. It's almost like the mud has preserved the rail.
So this is bullhead rail, and you've taken some up already there, and Mark's just walking by the digger. You can see the buffer stop.
Yeah.
We want to go with bullhead rail down to here, which is the foot crossing, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got a couple of pairs of rail there.
Yeah.
That's the first lot of rail that's going to be put in from Doseley to there. We're going to progress it down to the crossing here, and then from over the crossing and through the crossing we're going to hopefully lay flat bottom rail.
And then flat bottom rail all the way to
down
Doseley.
to Doseley.
To Doseley. So, when by, Anthony?
Next week.
Next week, yeah. We hope to get to the crossing, don't we?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
2025 is got to be just over the crossing, so I'm saying here.
Yeah.
And then time is of the essence of...
Yeah, and anything past where we're stood here is a bonus this year, isn't it? But that's good. We're ordering some rail as well, aren't we? Some flat bottom rail to get in.
The track bed is actually still in good condition.
Yeah.
It's still there. It just needs volunteers.
Yeah, same again, isn't it? Yeah.
And time, and we can get there.
Yeah, and it really is. We've got the materials, we're getting the materials that we need. It's time and volunteer labour. So if anyone watching this who lives locally wants to come and help us get to Doseley, you're more than welcome to come and start volunteering with us. But Anthony, you're doing a grand job with colleagues at Mark and Andy. Thanks ever so much.
Okay,
thank you. So our final stop for this edition of Railway Roundup, we're up at Lawley Station, and believe it or not, this platform will be put back in place, and we will have this open again in 2025. So looks a big job. It probably is a big job, refilling this back in and putting a platform level back on, but it is our plan to have this finished and reopened for the public in 2025. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of Railway Roundup. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all the volunteers who've come on and helped talk about the things that the railway's up to. Thank you as usual to Joshua for the camera work and the editing. And if you like what we've done, please press the subscribe button and the like button to be notified when we've got any further videos from the Telford Steam Railway. So that's it from me. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next edition.